My name is Daniel. I'm 74 years old. And if there's one thing I wish someone had forced me to understand when I was younger, it's this. Always listen to your wife. Not because she's always right, but because the day you stop listening is the day your relationship slowly starts dying. Right now, I live alone in a small apartment. The silence here is loud. No laughter. No one asking me how my day was. No one arguing with me about the TV remote. Just quiet walls and old memories. And the worst part, most of this, is my fault. I used to think I was a strong man. The kind of man who makes decisions and never backs down. My father raised me that way. He used to say, "A man leads the house. Everyone else follows." So that's how I live my life. I met my wife, Laura, when I was 26. She was smart, kind, and patient. Too patient, honestly. We fell in love quickly. She had this warm smile that made you feel like everything in life would be okay. We got married 2 years later. At the beginning, life was beautiful. We would talk for hours at night, dream about our future, plan trips we couldn't even afford. We laughed a lot, but slowly, something started changing, not in her, in me. I started believing that being the man of the house meant I always had to be right. Every decision became my decision. Where we live, where we spend money, how we raise our kids, even small things, like what car to buy or where to go on vacation. Laura would share her opinion sometimes, calmly, gently, and I would brush it off. "Don't worry about it, I'll handle it." At the time, I thought I was being responsible. But looking back now, I wasn't leading. I was ignoring. There's a difference. One night, about 15 years into our marriage, Laura said something that I still remember word for word. She looked at me during dinner and said, "Daniel, you don't really hear me anymore." I laughed it off. I told her she was overthinking things. That was my biggest mistake. Because when someone tells you they feel unheard, they're not attacking you. They're asking for connection. But I was too stubborn to see that. Years passed like that. She kept trying. I kept dismissing. Whenever we argued, I always had to win the argument. I would talk louder, explain longer, prove my point harder. And every time I won an argument, I was actually losing my marriage. I just didn't realize it yet. One example still haunts me. Laura once told me she wanted to move to a quieter town. She said the city stress was draining her. She wanted a slower life, a small house, a garden, maybe a dog. I immediately shut the idea down. This is where my job is. This is where our life is. End of discussion. I didn't ask why she felt that way. I didn't try to understand. I just closed the door on the conversation. Today I think about that moment a lot, because sometimes a relationship doesn't break in one big explosion. It breaks slowly, in hundreds of small moments, where one person stops listening. If you're watching this right now, take a second and subscribe to the channel. Stories like mine might save someone from making the same mistakes I did. I wish someone had shaken me and told me these things when I was younger. By the time I turned 50, things between Laura and me felt different. Not angry, just distant. We still lived in the same house, but it didn't feel like a home anymore. We stopped sharing little things. Conversations became short and practical. "Did you pay the bill? What time are you coming home? Dinner is on the table." The warmth was gone. And the truth is, distance in a marriage doesn't happen overnight. It grows quietly while nobody is paying attention. One evening, Laura sat across from me and said something I never expected. She said, "Daniel, I feel alone, even when you're sitting right next to me." That sentence hit me. But even then, my ego got in the way. Instead of asking how to fix it, I defended myself. I work hard for this family. I provide everything. I'm doing my best. But providing money isn't the same as providing emotional presence. I didn't understand that back then. A year later, she asked for a divorce. When she said those words, it felt like the ground disappeared under my feet. I was shocked. I kept saying, "Where is this coming from?" But the truth is, the signs had been there for years. I just never listened. The divorce process was quiet and painful. No screaming fights, no dramatic scenes, just two people signing papers and walking away from 28 years of marriage. The day she moved out of the house was the loneliest day of my life. I remember sitting in the living room, surrounded by half-empty shelves. Her favorite chair was gone. Her plants were gone. The kitchen felt different. The house suddenly felt bigger and emptier. That was the moment reality finally hit me. I didn't lose my marriage in one day. I lost it in thousands of moments where I chose my pride over listening. Now I'm 74. My kids live in different states. They visit sometimes, but they have their own lives. Laura remarried about 10 years ago. I heard she's happy. And honestly, I'm glad she is. She deserves someone who actually listened to her. As for me, I spend most days alone. Sometimes I make coffee in the morning and catch myself looking at the chair where she used to sit. It's strange how quiet life becomes when the person who shared your world is gone. People often ask older men like me what our biggest regrets are. Many say they regret not making more money. Some say they regret not traveling more. But my biggest regret is much simpler. I regret not listening to the woman who loved me for almost 3 decades. Because love isn't destroyed by big dramatic mistakes most of the time. It fades when someone stops feeling heard. So if you're younger than me and you're watching this, please understand something. Listening to your wife or girlfriend doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. It shows respect. And respect is the oxygen of any relationship. You don't have to agree with everything she says. But you should always make her feel like her voice matters. Ask her questions. Be curious about her thoughts. Let her finish her sentences. Don't turn every disagreement into a competition. Because a marriage isn't about winning arguments. It's about protecting the connection between two people. If I could go back in time, there are so many moments I would change. I would sit at that dinner table again and tell Laura, "You're right. Tell me how you feel." I would ask more questions. I would slow down. But life doesn't give us the chance to rewind. All we can do is learn and hope someone else listens. So, if you're in a relationship right now, do something simple tonight. Sit down with your partner, put your phone away, look them in the eyes, and really listen. Not to reply, not to argue, just to understand. Trust me, it might save your relationship, because the quiet apartment I live in today is proof of what happens when listening disappears. And believe me, loneliness at 74 is a heavy price to pay for a lifetime of stubbornness.